I strongly believe that my 33M wife 34F of 7 years, together for 9, is cheating on me. I dozens upon dozens of red flags but still no indisputable evidence of an affair, which I'm set on acquiring. I'd prefer to find this myself rather than pry at her for the information, because I have now lost all trust for her. For some background, we have been going through a pretty rough patch in our marriage after I betrayed her with crapography a year and a half ago. My recovery has gone well and I'm committed to healing with her, and she was previously motivated to heal, particularly for the sake of our son's well-being. A few months ago, I'd say we were on a great track, but something changed once she started law school in the fall. I think you see where this is going. So many sketchy things have happened since she began school that I really just have to list them out with bullet points. Here are some of the most concerning behaviors/things that have happened over the past 3 months. She broke her silicone wedding ring shortly into school but never replaced it, despite being a shopping addict. I upgraded her real wedding ring for our anniversary, said she loved it, but she doesn't wear that one either because it's too flashy and she doesn't want to hurt her friends' feelings. She recently went cosmic bowling with some of her friends late at night and went out of her way to take her MacBook along too. Stores texts. I confronted her on this and she said it was already in her pack. It was 100% packed by her. On that same outing, she stayed overnight at a friend's house despite being able to Uber back to our place. I was watching out son, who was sleeping so couldn't pick up. Her search history reveals that she looked up how to delete texts in Verizon account a few days following that outing. Search history also shows things like how to respond to how's your day going, and other stupid crap like that. Why would you need to know how to do that unless you were nervous or trying to flatter someone? Her MacBook password has changed, and she usually keeps it closed to her anyway. Was really concerned with me getting into our shared Verizon account. Her phone is always with her, or right next to her. Usually face down. I haven't had a chance to try to check it, but I'm certain she's changed the password there as well. Her Apple Watch goes everywhere with her as well. Literally took it off the charger into the crapper with her today to protect whatever is on there. She exhibits a lot of the typical behaviors such as distancing herself from me and son, always busy, buying new clothes, inners, mainly buying new perfume and doing her makeup every day. She was never into makeup. We have sex maybe once a month at this point, which I usually have to beg for and she complains about. The last time we had segs was on Saturday, and she propositioned me with an open relationship during the middle of segs where we could both have and romantic relationships outside of our marriage. I declined shortly after it was proposed. I asked her where she would like to find another partner and she said it would be easiest if the person went to her law school. So, great chance she's been effing and romantically involved with someone over there. She took it a step further and told our friends we were considering it, which is embarrassing and just screams, hey, we clearly aren't doing well to them. I told her not to tell them. She did it anyway. She's been spending less and less time with our son. She is unrecognizable as the mother she used to be. She was perfect, now when she might spend 15 quality minutes a day with him. Related to this, she said that if we get a divorce I can have him 5 out of 7 days each week because she's too busy with school. This really broke my heart. It's one thing not to care about me but a whole different level to remove your son from a top priority in your life. Her behavior just screams infidelity, but I'm not sure what to do next to really pin her down and prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Should I hire a private investigator? Any ideas for getting into one of her devices without her knowing? Really hard with 2-step verification? I really want to catch her because I will never trust what she says and I need this for closure before we divorce. I know I sound like I'm obsessed and crazy, and I am. I can't do anything lately other than trying to figure out what's going on. Thanks in advance for any help or advice you can offer. Update 1. My wife of 7 years had an emotional affair over the past few weeks, although I suspect more happened. I had to pry this out of her today after weeks of misery, compilation of indisputable evidence and backing her into a corner demanding answers. Like most stories of infidelity, more information trickled out the more I pried at her. For now though, let's assume that all she had was an emotional affair since that's all I've been able to get her to admit to. My wife just betrayed me and I'm crushed, but the truth is I betrayed her first and I wonder if I'm responsible for her affair, which is exactly what she told me this morning. I struggled with a crapography addiction and took things as far as crapping off to pictures of one of her previous coworkers, which was effing disgusting and evil of me and absolutely crushed my wife. She found out about my addiction early on in our marriage, and I said I'd stop but did not. Unsurprisingly, I continued to use and was discovered in the act again several years later where things all but fell apart for us. Our marriage hung by a thread for the first 6 months or so, but slowly felt like it was becoming stable enough to have a reasonable chance at survival by about a year out from D-Day 2. I was seeing multiple therapists per month, leveraging accountability partners, listening to podcasts and focusing on connections and relationships, namely my marriage. As time went on, I noticed my wife and I having more intimate moments, genuine I love yous and positive interaction in general. She still had some bad days but by and large, I felt security and some level of confidence that our relationship would return to a stable state if we held trajectory. Since things were looking better, we got back into building our lives together, starting with my wife's dream of attending law school. I fully supported her and quickly recognized this as an excellent opportunity to prove my value to her by being her support system for this trying endeavor. I did a terrible job of supporting her in the past. I made controlling decisions due to insecurities I had. I'm ashamed to say that, but it's the truth and needs to be stated for the sake of context. Because of these poor past behaviors, I really wanted to show my wife that I was all in on supporting her through law school, paying for her tuition, paying our regular bills, raising our special needs child almost exclusively, and offering her the support she needs to excel. In my mind, this would be an excellent opportunity for me to prove my worth and how I've grown as a husband, father, and a man. If you haven't already guessed it, my wife met someone through her law school, and this is where the emotional affair ended up occurring. In a way, it's incredibly ironic to me because I was always so afraid that she'd cheat on me if she attended a male-dominant program. I now fully realize how big of a controlling tramp I was back then, and I wasn't going to let any insecurities get in the way of our relationship this time. Honestly, I didn't have any, and I trusted her with my life. I truly believed my wife would remain loyal to me in the face of temptation, dedicated to healing and continuing to build our futures together. I couldn't have been more wrong. Not only did my wife have an emotional affair while I paid her tuition, provided all child care, paid the other bills, and cheerlead her, but she went out of her way to hide it from me at all costs. The level of deception, gaslighting, and absolutely evil effery she implemented to keep this a secret disgusts me to ends I didn't know I'd ever see. She texted him through her special needs nonprofit Google Voice number, then went to great lengths to delete those texts to hide them from me later. She lied about going to a girls' night when she was really going to a house party. She also deleted texts with any evidence of that night. She refused to wear her wedding ring all semester, and she even lied to the guy that we were currently separated. She grew incredibly distant from me and even my son, which absolutely crushed me. I feel like his perception of her has changed, and he doesn't seem nearly as attached to her as he used to be, which concerns me gravely. Effing me over is one thing. Neglecting your child's emotional needs so you can have a fling with some scumbag lawyer is another. I've found myself feeling empty most of today. I don't feel much of anything a good deal of the time. Then I have bouts of rage where I want to break everything in sight. I haven't felt a ton of sorrow yet, but I still don't think I've come to terms with the reality of the situation yet. Because I'm busy keeping the wheels turning for our family. Meanwhile, she continues the grind at law school, and it's only a matter of time before those two meet again. I do not know what to do, how to feel, or how to proceed. This whole thing really leaves with this burning question. Is my wife's emotional affair my fault due to the betrayals with crapography and crapping off? I can't help but feel I contributed, but don't feel it's reasonable for me to take responsibility for her pulling the trigger. Furthermore, I feel that her betrayal is so much more personal, painful, and difficult to mitigate since it involves two real people developing real intimacy together. I would appreciate anyone's thoughts, hearing about similar personal experiences, and suggestions to help me get through the coming moments. I have a little boy that means the world to me and depends on me entirely, and I need to keep my crap together for him right now. I also still love my wife, and at the moment, I want to work through this with her because she did the same for me. I feel I owe her this. Thanks in advance. Update 2. She had met an alumni attorney at a student mixer which we were originally going to attend together. I stayed behind because I was tired from work and from caring for our autistic son. Somehow, in an alleged 10-minute conversation, she told this guy that our marriage was on the rocks and that we were separated. We weren't. They began texting for the next few weeks. She only admits to him telling her she was beautiful. I still don't have the guy's name. I don't have any text/message records. I have nothing but her word, which is completely worthless. She had already deleted all evidence of any conversation. All I know is she said she told him that we are going to work on our marriage so they couldn't speak anymore, and that he doesn't even live here. He's from out of state and just flew in for the mixer to pick up students. I feel like I already had a problem comparing myself to others before this, but this has really exacerbated things for me. From how she describes him, this guy is taller than me, and I'm 6 feet 3 inches, was dressed like a pretentious Metro say Al. I usually wear plain t-shirts and jeans, and is a douchey intellectual property attorney from California. I have a high school diploma, but have created a successful business where I'll net close to $200,000 in a low cost of living state this year. Chances are, I make comparable money or even more than him. And I don't have $250K plus in student loan debt like most attorneys do. I have always felt like my wife wasn't proud of my career path and would have preferred I go down some basic tramp cookie cutter career path, like she decided to do. No offense to anyone else, I'm clearly triggered here and don't mean to run anyone else down. I also found out that she'd been lying to me about where she had been a few times. On one occasion, she alleged to have been at a girls' bowling night but ended up going to school house party and staying the night with one of her girlfriends. For all I know, she was effing homeboy. She has also been giving either her real number or Google Voice number to a number of other guys in her class. Again, would probably be fine under normal circumstances. The other day, one of her male peers parked next to her in the garage because they both drive a new Ford Bronco. I bought a nice one for my wife last year because she really liked them. Anyway, the guy ended up texting her and initiating conversation about the trucks. She didn't text him back yet but refuses to believe any of the male students have anything other than strictly platonic intentions. We've been trying to work through things for the past few weeks and honestly I felt like we were headed in the right direction, until last night. I was working out in the garage when I opened the door to her truck to look for a USB cable for my phone. Instead, I find another man's wallet on the passenger side floorboard. I open the wallet, check the ID and find that it's a male student that she attends school with. When I had calmed down, I went inside to begin strategically prodding her to figure out what was going on. She played dumb to all my cues and only admitted to having another man in the truck with her after I told her I found his wallet. She said that it had been raining and she volunteered to give him a ride home after study time was over. She said she didn't think it was a big deal, so she didn't bother to ask me about it. Honestly, for a healthy trusting marriage I don't think it is a big deal, but all trust had already been shattered weeks ago, and then she decides to give a male student a ride without my knowledge. I don't think anything else happened because the guy is literally smaller than my wife and quite nerdy looking, but I can't rule it out because she has proven that she cannot be trusted. If that's not enough, she also fessed up to doing this with another male student a few months back as well. We also live in a state where we can carry weapons in our vehicle. I allow her to keep one of our weapons in the truck for safety in the parking garage. It's very concerning to me that she would have strange men in the car when there's a loaded weapon inches away from them. What happens if she were to give a ride to some random guy that's a psychopath? He finds the weapon and he slaughters her with it. Also worth mentioning, she lost the weapon the other day and sent me into a panic trying to find it. Fortunately, we did find it pretty quickly under the floorboard, holstered and safe, but she clearly isn't responsible enough to carry it anymore, so those privileges are revoked, among other things which are still to be decided. I really don't know where I go from here. The only reason I'm still working with her is because I betrayed her myself in the past and I owe her the same opportunity for redemption. It's just crazy that she has already effed up again. I absolutely resent and hate the living F out of her law school, her peers and anything else related to it because it has either directly or indirectly caused so much turmoil in our marriage. I refuse to go to any law school related events, meet any of her friends, or be involved in anything else other than attending her graduation. All I ever wanted was to support her through law school and have her appreciate me, not try to F other guys and lie to me about who she's with and what she's doing. I have financially supported my wife and our family almost exclusively for the past 5 years. I pay cash for her tuition each semester. I watch one of her law school friends' dog when she's out of town, twice so far this semester. I am the primary caregiver for our autistic son. She might spend a few hours with him per week now. I work hard with my business to continue to provide for my family, and support her shopping addiction. I have been in successful recovery from my own problematic contributions to the marriage. I have been emotionally supportive, loving and available to her. I'm so hurt, absolutely livid and tired of dealing with all of this. I think I know what most of you are going to say, I need to leave her. I think I would, had she not stuck it out with me through my crap. I also want to keep our family unit together. At a minimum, she will face dire consequences for the ongoing deception, and the next large deception may be enough for me to go through with the divorce. Betrayal and deception are terrible things, and I'm deeply empathetic to anyone else there that is dealing with it, trying to get through the day-to-day. I hope things turn around for our marriage, but I lose hope each time something like this happens and feel I'm still in the dark, as to what has really happened or is still going on. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Found out wife's affair with coworker when I brought flowers on our 10th anniversary. My 35M wife 35F and I were married 10 years ago yesterday. She has been working on a big project for the last few months. The last 4 weeks or so she has been putting in extra time, staying late, going in early, to finish up by deadline. This is a career maker for her. I work construction. With the rain we have crazy hours trying to make up time that we missed. So I work 12 hours on the days it's nice, sometimes a little longer. If it's raining when I get up I don't go in. Some days we get sent home when it starts, too dangerous. I usually hit the gym for an hour or two. Thursday we started at 6 a.m., mid-morning starts to rain hard. We go home. I go to the gym as usual. I cut the workout short and head downtown to see wife Megan, to give her flowers and make plans for dinner that night if possible. We really haven't seen much of each other this week. I went to bed about 9 p.m. She wasn't home, called me earlier, she is working late. Not unusual for past month. I stopped and got some flowers and went into her building about 12:30. Nicole was at the receptionist desk. I told her I got here later than I wanted. Could she put the flowers on Megan's desk? She said, I don't think they went to lunch yet. Why not drop them off yourself? She buzzed the door to get back to the offices. The place was deserted. I went to her office. The door was closed. I always walk in unless the receptionist tells me she is in a meeting. I walk in, some guy is standing behind her nuzzling her neck. She is reaching back over his head. She is giggling only as she can, saying, we got to get this done. I am gut punched. I slammed the flowers down, said happy anniversary and walked out. I didn't hear what she said, just went past Nicole, said goodbye and left. Made it to elevators and out the building, then my phone started ringing. I bawled my eyes out all the way home. Went into garage, pulled my camping gear out of the rafters and took off. I drove about 2 hours to a state park. I had no idea what to do. I just had to run. I hiked a trail we have been on in the past, about a 3-hour hike. I don't drink much, so I had no booze. I just sat there thinking. Looking back, I am glad I was in a rush. Normally I bring a .45 caliber. With me camping, we have black bears, which generally scare off, but get aggressive if hungry or cubs around. The way I was feeling, I might have ate the barrel that night. My phone was blowing up from Megan, so I had turned it off. I left the park to get reception, turned it on to see my good friend called. I called him back. He said Megan called him to check on me, make sure I didn't do anything stupid. We talked a bit, told him I got to think this through, would catch up on Friday. So while I'm thinking about this, I go over our marriage from the beginning to see what I missed. We come from completely opposite backgrounds. My grandfather raised me with my mom. He taught me about life. He had a little saying about everything. He told me marriage would be the hardest jobs he ever had. You had to work on it every day. God, I miss him. We did not have much, heard mom and grandpa having many discussions about bills. They worked hard, and my brother and I did not miss out on anything we knew of. Megan was born into money. Not overly rich but very comfortable. Went to a great college, always great clothes, new car, etc. And she is beautiful, 11/10 beautiful. I would joke with her if she coughed about the silver spoon getting stuck in her throat. We met, hit off, started dating. I was dumbfounded how such a woman would ever be with me. We dated quite a while before she told me about her parents and lifestyle. Our friends called us the model couple, because they thought we were so good looking we had to be models. Families were not as kind, afraid of the differences economically would come into play. Her dad and I started to get along, but her mom took some convincing. She graduates, gets her first job, we plan on getting married. We work out between us that we would expose each other to our lives that we live. I took her whitewater rafting, she took me to the symphony, we went ziplining, we went to an art opening, etc. We agreed we had to experience the other's interests. She was really enthused about the more physical things we did. I kinda like the symphony and such. I own 2 tuxes now. I look back and do not see any red flags. Her first 2 jobs she quit because the men all tried to get in her pants. She was paraded out in front for photo operations. Invited to conferences when other newbies were not. At dinner at a conference, a partner tried to get her drunk, then tried to force himself into her room that night. She quit. The next job the same thing, quit again. This third job as women as some of the partners, and none of that BS is in her workplace. She seems very happy. We seemed very happy. So now, Friday, I am home. I called her. Asked where she was, back at work. I, being in a smart crap mood, said that the marriage is taking second place to her job. She responded since I would not talk, what was she to do? Fair enough. She will be home in an hour. So I wait. I want to save our marriage. If I am lacking in providing, then I want to fix it. I want to ask why, of course, but I cannot accept I don't know answer. How do I phrase this? What else should I be asking? I know I will get all emotional and forget everything. So over the next few days we will be going over and over this. What she did is wrong, but please no degrading comments. She is still my wife. Thank you in advance. Update, I am exhausted, sorry for the bad form that is about to happen. Wife and I had a marathon talking session on Friday until late night. I started by asking that she be honest in all answers and be complete. Do not tell me half-truths that have to be asked several different ways to get a complete answer. She agreed. I started with why? Answer, I don't know. Kinda of what was expected. We went round and round on this. Finally I said, how many times did you have sex? Started to dodge, but when I let out a sigh and shook my head, she said 6 or 7 times. That started things rolling. I kept my cool. How long? Last 3 weeks. Back to why? Could not give an answer. Do you still love me? Yes. Saying it because we are done trying save marriage? No, with some conviction. Do you find me attractive? Yes. Why? Still can't answer. Am I not giving you something you are looking for? Here she hesitated but quickly recovered. I knew I was onto something. Could not crack the nut though. Finally about midnight I was tired, she was tired. I said, Megan, you are an intelligent woman. I cannot believe you cannot articulate the why I am asking about. She started crying, saying she is trying to answer my questions. I said, okay, enough for tonight, time for bed. She starts to walk toward the door. I asked where she was going. To my parents' house. I told her that this is our house, I am not asking you to leave. She stopped crying at that point. I said, we are not divorced or separated. That may come, but for now we need to be together until we sort this out. We actually slept in the same bed, not segs in case you are going to ask. I am up almost most of the night. I am reading some of the comments in DM. Had some great comments and back and forth with a few people. One told me that women generally marry up in social status. We were unusual, maybe second thoughts. One suggested that maybe I was right, that I was not fulfilling something for her, but one told me that there was a post a few days ago describing this scenario but from the women's view, asking what she should do. So I pulled up Reddit, put in Megan's account, looked at her history. Bingo. She was the one who posted. So this morning we start again. I start out why? Same answer. We go round and round, she getting annoyed. Then I say, did this guy challenge you intellectually? The look on her face was priceless. You read my post. For the masses, she described how she caught the feeling, when they first kiss, make out session in hotel, she left. Next morning after I left for work, She hightailed it over to hotel to put an end to it, then had segs. It continued at least up to her posting. I am sure a couple days later I discovered them. She also was weighing on whether to leave, then says this is moving way too fast. She needs to separate from this her that she and thinks I am a dumb hick. No guy. So I present this to she was attracted to him because this project they are on is his idea. She feels she is getting passed by and needs to up her game. The stimulation from this led to the attraction and the rest. Now I don't know. I know her, she was sincere. Now the floodgates open, we have a great dialogue through the issue. Mid-afternoon she wants a break. She leaves to her parents. So I am writing this update, knock on the door. Okay, gotta say I am really tired now. There stands Megan's mom. I tell her Megan is on the way to their house. She knows, she wants to talk to me. She has never been to our house by herself. She has never that I remember talked to me privately. She says she is not here to sway me in any way, she would accept any decision I make. But she wants to tell me her story. She was married once before Megan's dad, I knew that. The man she married was the love of her life. Didn't have much. She met now husband, they caught some feelings. Before they cheated she told first husband they were done, divorced. Married new guy, he had some money but was an up and coming exec. Couple years go by not happy, made a mistake. Old husband moved on, is married. She gets pregnant. Has Megan, goes into depression, was actually institutionalized. 2 years later pregnant with brother, repeat cycle, couple years later sister is born, repeat. No more kids, she is fixed. Everyone thought it was postpartum depression, I guess it was, but it mirrored her ex also expanding his family. To this day she knows where he lives, his kids' names, etc. She has never gotten over leaving the love of her life. She sees how I am with Megan. She sees she is my love. She saw it when she quit her first job, how I took care of her. She got up and left saying nothing else. This is really long, I know. Couple things to clean up. Much talk about Megan's first 2 jobs. None of you were there when she got off that plane and collapsed into my arms. We weren't married yet. Harassment is real. Report it to who? The guy owned the company. She did right and quit. The second job was more of the same. She left as soon as she felt uncomfortable. So F you to all those bad-mouthing her actions. Next up I asked for civility in treating Megan. There were some that just showed their crap and spoke out anyway. I asked for advice but put down, called names. Someone said the kind Reddit community has offered great advice. I call BS. They for the most part offered insults, bad language, very little insight. Thank you to the kind people who DM'd, you were the best. Those that shared their stories, I appreciate you and hope your journey from here is a smooth one. Want to know about Nicole? Nope. Want to know to what the future holds? Nope. Also her post will be removed.